Hi.
Jackie, I'm gonna send the link to Rosita. She's didn't receive it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hold on. Let me go ahead and move you over here. Oh my God, I don't know if I can get into my. Espérame. Let me minimize you. Okay, there we go. I just had it. Okay. Rosita te lo mandó, but I'll send it to you again. Okay.
Which one did she send it to? The co-op anchor one?
Yeah. Okay. Let me forward it again to you. Sauceda. Hold on.
No problem.
All right, let me hang up.
Okay. Hold on, there it is. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Okay, wait, am I muted?
How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I met with Elena today. Oh my God, she's so amazing.
Oh, that's great. You physically met her.
Yeah, I signed up with her. But the only problem that I have, girl, I don't know my password for Instagram. So I'm kind of looking as we wait for Rosita on this book that I have all kinds of passwords. So that's the only issue that I'm trying to, I don't know where to find it. I have to, I guess, get another password because it's been a long time.
Oh, I know. And then when your computer does updates, it messes everything.
Okay.
I have my little notes on my phone, and that's where I put all my passwords.
Yes, I started doing that, but girl, Instagram's been in my life for I don't know how many years, and so I'm trying to. I have this book, and I have all kinds of notes here. Pero while we wait for her, let me see. I'm like, yeah. So, yeah, I heard the podcast. It was really, really good. I loved it.
She's fantastic. I really like her. So she's helping me more specifically. I mean, she's helping me with my Instagram, but more specifically my YouTube channel. All the podcasts are being put on my YouTube channel.
Oh, that's awesome.
All of them. So the video, like what we're going to do right now, that's going to end up being on a YouTube.
Oh my God. So all the past interviews that you've done, they're on the YouTube channel?
Yeah.
How exciting. I gotta go back.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Hola, Rosalena. How are you?
Thank you. How are you doing?
Good. I'm excited to have you on today. Excuse me, because I'm kind of getting over this
It catches up to all of us.
All of us. So I'm kind of just going through the motions.
Yeah, that's how I was last month. It's like, okay, got to take, my mom was sick, and then I got sick a little bit, but I don't think it was COVID, but so I just stayed home and got myself well. So
yeah. Well, I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to have you on. Just want to go briefly. I think what I really wanted for our conversation to really target mentorship, the ups and the pitfalls, because even in mentorship, like you could be a mentor and be amazing and whatnot, but there's sometimes it could be not too cool, not too amazing, and as you're moving up in the command of leadership, you start mentoring people, and I want to know the ins and outs of all that. And I know that you've been mentoring so many women who have been thriving, and Veronica had this amazing idea for us to do something like this with you, because you are like the master of mentoring. So I'm like, oh, hail the queen.
No, I think there's a couple of us, and I believe the older we're and the wiser we get, the better, we better get. And then I think with my background in management and also working for a lot of different people, I've learned as I've gone, but like I was sharing with Veronica, my thing is I became a manager at a young age, and throughout my career, they always put me on a leadership position because I take the lead. So, but
Right.
so I mean, and I learned from I had great mentors in my life. So when you get to a certain age too, like after you hit the 50 mark, then you start realizing that, your gift is what you want to do. So.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay. So, I want to get really, after I started recording some stuff, so it's going to ask you to press OK to record. We're going to go. I know you were with, we're going to talk a little bit about, not a little, probably a lot, about National Latina Business Women's Association. Is it, am I correct to say that you were one of the founders of it?
No, I joined probably, so I became part of it. It started in 2003.
Right.
And I joined in 2008. So it was already.
Okay. It was already started. Okay. But you did you were the president.
Yeah. So it's one of the things that I always shared with everybody when, I identified with NLBWA, and it was through my banking job that they wanted us to, be involved with Latino businesses. So I'll go ahead and send you my resume too, but
okay.
But I think a lot of it was being, also being a branch manager and a business client manager, which when I was doing the business client manager, that's when I joined NLBWA.
Okay.
So as a member, but what I always tell people is I joined it to find a mentor, but little did I know I ended up being the mentor.
The mentor.
Yeah. So a lot of
I love that story. I love that. And I think we need to really dig in that, right?
Yeah. And
sometimes.
That's part of my story, that it's like identify who you are. And it's like, okay, I joined to be the mentor, to find, I thought I would going to meet, hire ladies and be able to connect, but then I ended up becoming the mentor and just, being part of the organization and taking it up to the next level.
Okay.
To where it was at. So.
Yay. Okay, cool. All right. So that gives me some background with that. And then Veronica, you're going to chime in because I know you are also a mentor and connector. So are we ready?
Yeah.
All right. Perfect.
We're ready.
Yes. Okay, here we go. Pause. Let me see. Resume. Okay, perfect. Okay. Hello, amigas. Hello, and welcome to Amiga Handle Your Shit podcast. I have some beautiful souls here with me. We have I think this is our third time, Veronica, together. Is it?
1, 2. I think so. Yes, I feel like I'm a regular. Like I'm a regular on your TV show.
I know. I think we need to make this like a regular, not a sitcom, but a regular show for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Anytime. I'm at your disposal.
Well, because you're always backed by popular demand. So I'm so filled with gratitude today because I get to have a super powerhouse, alongside with Veronica. We have Elena. Oh my God, this woman, what has she not done? And I'm so excited to have you here. So Elena Sauceda, as I had previously said in the recording, she is from Caldwell Banker Leaders, and she has a long history of mentorship. But before she became a mentor, she was a mentee. But then she thought that she found a group thinking that she was going to be a mentee, ended up being a mentor. And so we need to really unpack all that, because today's episode is about connecting. And I have the biggest connectors of my life here in front of me to discuss how do they go about connecting people? What is it that they find in amigas, in Latinas, in Latinos that makes them so special, and being able to support them and rise and shine together and just uplift one another. So I'm excited to have them here. So welcome, Rosalena, and welcome back, Veronica, to Amiga Handle Your Shit podcast.
Yay, Rosita.
You know what? I'm sorry to interrupt, but I didn't. So we're doing the recording right now then.
Yes.
That's it. So can we start over? Because I wasn't ready for it. I thought you were just going to try to get some information out of me.
Oh, okay. Well, no, that's okay, because my editor can just go and change everything around. So it's cool. Like they will like take the intro and then they'll cut and then they'll start right now if we want to start.
And then the background too. I wasn't ready for that. So I was like, okay, I'd rather it be like
So what do you want to do? Like, do you want me to pause it and then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's pause. Okay. Hi, welcome back to Amiga Handle Your Shit podcast. I have Rosalena here and Veronica Franco, and we had been discussing earlier about just who they are, and then also how they're just like the biggest badass amigas who handle their shit in mentorship and leadership, and just really, really the best connectors known to man and to woman. And so I'm excited to have them here. So Rosalena, this is your first time with me. Welcome here to Amiga Handle Your Shit podcast.
Thank you for having me, Jackie.
Absolutely. You've been on my mind. You've been on my radar. And so I'm so happy that I have you here. And Veronica, as always, I'm like, Veronica, you need to be on it too.
Always here at your disposal, my queen.
Amiga, aw, so sweet. So Veronica Franco for Providence Title Company. Okay, so we are here to discuss, how does one get to be a mentor? Because before you're a mentor, we're mentees, right? We're novices. We don't know what the heck we're doing. So I know, Rosalena, you've been a mentor for a long time, but before we even jumped on the call, you were talking about you were searching out groups to be a mentee. And then in the end, you ended up being the mentor. So I really want to dive really deep with that. So tell me, you were working in a managerial position, right?
Correct. Yes.
And so, just to give amigas out there some perspective, what were you doing at the time as a young woman in your career?
Well, I mean, managing has always been my style. I from my first job at McDonald's, I was able to, and I love my job at McDonald's because, at 15 and a half, me and my best friend were waiting to get, had our work permit and we were ready to work. And what we did is, we started off as cashiers. But I would always ask people, oh, can you help me with this? I would ask people, not help, but, I was always like let's, I'm sorry, I'm getting nervous. So let me start all over again. So I would, kind of ask people to do them. So then what happened is my store manager took me aside and he says, Rose, I love the way you ask people to do things and people listen to you. It's the way you connect with people. So without knowing, I was able to move up in the corporation with, as a swing manager and also like an assistant manager. So what I did, and throughout my career after several positions in my 20s and also my 30s, I got an opportunity to also become a manager or a team leader in a lot of different positions. So when I worked with the top executives at Bank of America, I also learned, a different way of a style of management. So I always was able to listen, and I always out the best in different people. And I said, well, and whenever I become a manager again, I want to have that style. And I wanted to make sure that people that worked with me or under me enjoyed what they did. So I believe, things through your journey in life, you work on your best attributes, your best talents. And I think as you develop in your 20s and also in your 30s, then everything starts combining. So with the mentorship, I've always loved managing people, and I always put myself in positions like a team leader or knowing what needs to be done. So in a group of people. So I think that's where I really enjoyed being, knowing my strength and knowing my value and being able to share it with other people. One thing about myself, I'm not one of those hard ass bosses. I try to bring out the best in everybody that I connect, and which also leads to the relationships with people, the expectations. I always see a employee or a person that's going through a difficult time, and then I try to bring out the best in them. So I think that's one of my best attributes, and I'm able to I see the potential in other people. And I think a lot of it had to do with how people that were my mentors, because they saw the best of me. So in turn, I go ahead and as I've gotten older and matured, I've been able to do that. Because whether you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, and sometimes in your 50s, you value somebody else's opinion, but somebody else's opinion that you trust. So as I've developed friendships or relationships, whether it's been through a leadership role or whether it's been through a sales role, I always make whoever I'm with feel comfortable. And what I do is I share a little bit about me, because what you see is what you get. And then I'm able to make that person feel comfortable. And I see what they need, and I bring out the best in them. So I mean, I think it, as I've learned it, in the new word, it's emotional intelligence, where I really, to me, I lead by example, and I also lead through my heart, because it's like, my expectations aren't, it's like that person, I see, what they need and what I can, what challenges, as I was part of an LBWA for about 10 years. And during that time, it was after the financial crisis. So a lot of women were going through transitions of either, restarting their careers again, and then having the opportunity to start their own business. So with my past experience as a, branch manager and a business client manager, helping businesses, I was able to help them transition to encourage them, because I think that's one other thing also about mentorship. I think I think everybody needs encouragement and a cheerleader, somebody that believes in them and is going to be, they're your raving fan. So that's something that I always try to do with whoever I meet and whoever I interact with. So.
Wow, that is quite a lot that I want to unpack. Okay, so there's so much. Let me start by the fact that you were 15 years old and you already knew you had this gift, and that's a manager at the time saw in you. How do you think, what happened, or who did you see that? Who did you emulate to have that gift in you of being a leader, of being this supportive individual, of seeing the good in people, seeing their value. I mean, because at the age of 15, you're still young, you're still vulnerable, you're still, you know, being led. But you, on the other hand, you already had those gifts inside of you. Did you see someone? Did you emulate someone at that time?
No, I think it was more of just accepting people for who they were and just making, I mean, it's like the big thing, you know, there's no I in team. So if ever you need a goal or something together, I mean, I've never been it's about me. I always, it's about others. And I think whenever I'm in a team effort, it's like, okay, what do we need to do? What are our goals and how are we going to accomplish that, you know? And the positions that I have, whether it's, you know, manager at my first job at McDonald's, you know, very sales oriented, very, you know, but I always made it a point to make sure whether it was a maintenance guy or whether it was, you know, another manager or whether it was a person doing the French fries or drive through, you know, we all worked as a team. So I think it's been something that as a young girl, I've had. I mean, some of my past is, you know, of growing up with my mom, you know, I'm kind of more of an observer, and I kind of observe from others. I mean, I see, and that's how I kind of like, okay, this person is, you know, I identify their characters and I try to, you know, work with them and you know, their strengths. And also I don't like calling it weaknesses, but I try to bring out the best in others. So
I love that. You don't call them weaknesses, you try to see the best in others.
yes.
I really, really enjoy it, and I love that. And I think that is super important, amigas out there, to acknowledge that we do not have weaknesses. If there's something that we're doing and it may not be going the way that you want, it's not to be considered a weakness, because whatever you're doing, it might be considered some benefit for somebody else.
Mhm.
And Veronica, I know that you have a lot to share with this.
Well, I think that what it is there's always room for improvement, right? And so I think that we have to reevaluate. I know you said it on your podcast at the end of 2021. You went over everything, right? And the tips to have a successful 2022. And one of them was what didn't work for you in 2021, right? We got to fix, we got to let go of things. And I think that's important, is when we recognize we have some you know things that aren't actually our strengths, and so we just work with them, and we still love ourselves for what it is. But so, you know, with Rosita, I have to say that she is so authentic. She has been a great mentor to me. And, you know, I just want to share that she's opened up so many doors, and I'm so grateful for that, Rosita. You know that you're such a connector. You're so wise. You look beyond colors, sizes, gender. I mean, you just accept everyone. It is todo corazón. I've always said that, right? You just give so much love. And, you know, I just want to share that in 2020, when the pandemic happened, we all were uncertain, right? What was going to happen in our business? Like, is the 2008 going to repeat? Is the market going to crash? And so Zoom came into play, right? Technology. And so Rosita would say, Mija, just, you know, practice. Let's get on Zoom and practice this presentation. I'll set it up at my office. And so she really pushed me. And that was a game changer in 2020. I grew my business because I followed her advice and her mentorship, I guess. But, you know, I let myself, I surrender, and I said, okay, I'm going to do what Rosita tells me to do. And so we would hold Zoom meetings, have different speakers. And now I'm teaching her how to do a little bit of Zoom, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, I just want to thank you that you have been so instrumental. And I've always said that, Rosita, you've been so instrumental. You've connected me with so many great people. You've opened up the doors. And I always say, you know, the people that opened up those doors, don't ever forget them. So, you know, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, because you are a big part of my growth.
No, and I mean, I loved seeing her. You know, there was a part of me that I saw myself, you know, she was bright eye and bushy tail, and she's like, okay, you know, connect her. And I saw, you know, her leadership, but like, okay, she's taking it up to the next level. And that's the other thing. There's people that allow, you know, you have to trust each other and allow, you know, the advice. You know, as Latinas, I look at my role more like a madrina. You know, you have your mom, you have your mom that's, you know, she adores you and you adore, but we also have, you know, there's sometimes good times, but then also the friction, because, you know, we are a reflection of mom. But then you have these other ladies that come into your life as a godmother. And I know I've had, you know, a couple of us like, okay, I'm a true believer that people come into your life for a reason, a season, and a lifetime. So, you know, I still have my friends from, you know, grammar school and high school that I keep in touch with. But through my journey in life, I've also met some fabulous, you know, women and males. But so to me, it's the journey of life. And like Veronica said, it's also, you know, being a mentor and being a coach, because I see myself as a coach. Just like right now, you know, the Super Bowl's coming, you know, there's some fabulous players, but then look at the coaches. So I really consider myself as a coach, a mentor, and also as a wise woman. I think when you come in, you start hitting your 50s, 55, you are that wise woman, and you're able to share. So, you know, and I think my personality has always been nurturing, and what you see is what you get. And, you know, as when I was part of NLBWA, you know, everybody says, Rose, you're the corazon of the organization, because to me, it wasn't about me. It was about my members. It was about my women business owners that wanted to take their business to the next level or start their own business. So it's been a journey. So now that I transition, you know, as in real estate, you know, I do the same thing. You know, I have a team that I mentor, but I also, you know, work with my broker Lupita, and kind of, you know, like Veronica said, you know, I go in her office and say, hey, why don't we have cafecito time? Why don't we? Because I think it's people want that, you know, feel comfortable, you know, we're all at different levels, but if you have the support of one another, and mostly as women, you know, you really have to come from your heart and support each other to try to take you to the next level, and not bring each other, you know, and try not to bring each other's down, because there's enough business out there, and then there's enough, you know, for you to succeed. I mean, I love what Veronica's done and how she's flourished, and it's like, you know, she's amazing, and you know, she you know, the more it's like, hey, Veronica, try this, or she'll come to me, hey, Rose, what do you think? I'm like, go for it. What do you have to, you know, why not? You know, instead of asking yourself why, no, why not? Why can't you reach? And so to me, it's about, I think mentoring is about a gift. And also, you know, it's really important. I've always told people, you know, if you find somebody that you know, you totally admire and stuff, and, you know, don't hesitate to ask them, hey, can you mentor me? You know, one of the ladies that I met, I mean, I had a notary signing one day, and you know, the next, you know, I went to meet with her, and it was, Anna Maria, Esparza Smith. And I mean, I, did her notary for her loan docs, but it was so incredible because she had such a fabulous story to share. And I'm like, oh no, I'm going to connect you. I mean, and I'm going to make you big. She's already, but I love giving other people the platform. And I can't wait to hear, more of her stories and share her stories, because I think what you're doing too, Jackie, is really important, because you are sharing, our stories and what we're able. I'm kind of a little bit, as much as I love giving, I'm shy, but then at the same time, it's what you're doing is fabulous, and you're bringing out the best in everybody, and just your style of interviewing too, Jackie, that's going to. So I also see very great things for you.
Oh, thank you. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take my napkin. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I love what you're saying, that I mean, obviously you are like the madrina. You're the madrina, and everybody comes to you for advice. And look at Veronica, her saying all these things. And for me, whether, I got to meet Anne Marie. Mm-hmm. And because this whole circle, she's going to be at our event on March 18 as one of our speakers. And it's just so beautiful how everything just started unfolding, because, it started with a conversation that you had, Rose, right? Mm-hmm. And who knew that your conversation with Anne-Marie was going to lead to all these things that follow through. And that's the thing, amigas out there who are listening. Every interaction you have with someone is a potential for it to blossom and grow into something that you have no idea. It's like a metamorphosis. It continues to grow and grow and grow like a butterfly, and it learns to fly. And you just don't know, even the smallest of things. I mean, going back to the McDonald's, I mean, something that small. Look at where Rose is now. Now she's this big time mentor and was a part of NLBWA for a long time. And she supported so many amigas. And now she's in a different kind of role, inspiring and meeting women that have net worths of millions and millions and millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. But that's because she allowed herself to be guided by her spirit, to know that every human encounter is a blessing and is a way to observe and to connect and to lead with her heart. Because as she says, she's the corazón. Mm-hmm. So NLBWA said that she was the corazón, and she is the corazón, right, Veronica?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, she's nothing but love and very nurturing. And I think that's what we're drawn to you, Rosita, is because you're just so loving, yet you have you're a businesswoman, and you have a long trajectory in the banking industry, and now you're doing real estate. And I think that's admirable, right? How you pivot, right? You went now to real estate, to helping out families, and you're doing amazing, and your clients love you. I know, because I'm your title rep. And I see how hard she works for her clients. And, our business is not to, it's not about money. Money comes and goes. It's about our purpose, which is to provide service, right? We come from a place of service. And so that's, you're in the right place. And I know that you're going to get a lot more clients this year, because just of who you are. You're so authentic, and you take good care of them, and your intentions is to look out for their best interest. And I always say, money comes and goes, but relationships don't, and friendships don't. So that's one thing, is over money, no pasa nada. We're not going to break out friendships over that.
Yeah.
And also lead by example, because people are watching you. People and people are seeing what you're able to do. I mean, like you mentioned, I'm very authentic. What you see is what you get. So I'm not going to pretend to be somebody I'm not. It's not always going to be about me. It's going to about you and bringing out the best. I big little quote that I use is like, good leaders make great leaders. So as a mentor, as a coach, it's like, okay, a lot of people think, oh, well, it's, oh, well, that person, looking at, but as a manager and as a leader, you really have to be okay with who you are, but also be able to give and give selfishly, because with no expectations back, because it's, and there's times that people will say like, Rose, hoot your horn or take it to the next, it's about me, no, I'm not going to call myself Queen Rose. I'm going to let Veronica call me Queen Rose.
You are Queen Rosita. Yes.
So to me, it's not, my journey, my mentoring, my, being part of a great organization that I was able to make, grow and just connect a lot of people, because probably that was one of the best things that, happened to me. And that when I became part of NLBWA, it was during a transition for me too, because of my banking job, the market, the financial market. So I really had to reinvent myself. So I had to like, okay, what is it that I do best? I had my background in banking and I wanted to help other people help take their business to the next level. So through sponsorships, through, great corporate sponsors, that I was able to bring in, financial wealth to the organization and grow it to a place where it was really successful. So, but I just think it's great to mentor, and whether you mentor 1-2 persons, but it's about connecting with that other person and just sharing your stories and just supporting each other as women.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so, I mean, I think that for amigas out there who are young, okay, because there's young women that are listening to this podcast, what would you want to have heard when you were young? And now that you're as a mature woman, you wish you would have gotten that advice in terms of mentorship?
Well, I mean, I kind of grew up in the 80s. So, I mean, I saw a lot of women, transition, that whole generation where I worked with men, but the women had to work double as hard, double. And I think us as women, that's another journey that we definitely, we give it all we got. But so I think it's just finding the support group. I think finding the support people that are around your circle. And if somebody's not going to be able to serve you, then you move on. I always, like every year, I always say, okay, friends come into your life for a reason, and then they leave, you relocate, or they get married, or start having a family. So then I always look at it. It's like, okay, who's one door closes, another one opens. But then it's also like, this friendship is, what is it going to, also share? And like Veronica, I've probably met her like 2, 3. Sandra Williams was always like, you got to meet Veronica. You got to meet Veronica. And we knew of each other, but we were not connected until probably like 3 years ago. And it's been, it's been a great transition, friendship. And just like she's helped me a lot, through real estate, because she's been in the real estate industry for so long. So she helped me navigate that. But in turns, I also saw the potential in her to bring her what she was able to create to the next level. I saw that shining star. To me, it's like finding that shining star, and I want her to shine.
Oh,
Yay.
you're so beautiful. Oh my gosh.
It's so true, though. It's so true. I mean, I can agree with that, because when I met Veronica at BNI years ago, I used to think, I'm like, I need to get to know this woman even more. Because at that time,
we are.
and here we are. I thought, what a master networker. I mean, and always very obviously authentic, but very genuine, and just with this ease and this grace to her.
Mm-hmm.
Like she leads with her spirit, and that magnifies. And so I think it's important for amigas out there to understand that if you lead from your heart, from your spirit, anything is possible. Connections are so much easier and so fluid, right?
100%. Yes.
Oh, how exciting. Oh, these two women, these powerhouses. We need to have them back up in this podcast, because we got more to share. But I know that everyone's time is valuable. And so we're getting at the tail end of our conversation. And I always ask my amigas who have come on to my podcast if they could give us some tips on how an amiga can handle her shit. Rose, what do you think?
And just be authentic, be you. People see right through you. And, just if you give from your heart, but don't expect anything back. But people will appreciate you and love you back. It's what you give is what you give is what you get back. So whether it's your family, whether it's your friends, whether it's a relationship. And so just be authentic, and the rest is, history. And ask people that you admire to be your mentors. And, because I know when I used to do that, they used to say, oh my gosh, they feel proud, and vice versa. When people have asked me to be their mentor, to me, it's like, oh my gosh, sure. And I'll make the time, or I'll help you get through whatever you're going through, whether it's your career, whether it's, your relationship, because we're sisters, and we have to treat ourselves like, treat each other with love and respect. So
Absolutely.
right, Veronica?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So my recommendation or advice to all our beautiful amigas out there is, don't ever forget who got you to where you're at. Always go back and thank those that got you here. And that's one thing, never ever forget them, because we didn't get here alone, right? We have a tribe behind us.
Mm-hmm.
And we always have to be grateful and gracious, and for the opportunities, and those doors will keep on opening.
Oh, I love that. I think it encapsulates everything about Amiga Handle Your Shit, because, in order to multiply, we have to first come from the heart, and, be authentic about it, lead by your spirit, and bring everyone along with you, because when you rise, all of them rise with you, right?
Absolutely.
And not to forget those that helped you along the way, because that is so important. I mean, how many times have we been led, and have, like, for me, I can honestly say, as a lawyer, like, who were my mentors who brought me to be a lawyer, right? And I have thanked them, and I continue to thank. And now that I'm in this transition in my life, I thank Veronica all the time, because I'm like, because of you, I get to do now what I love. And that's just being on a mic and talking, and just being authentically me. And so that's the thing. In the end, whether you continue in the same career, that's amazing, or you say, no, I've had enough, and you pivoted, because it's okay. It's okay to change, because everything is if it comes from love, anything is possible.
Absolutely. I love that. Yes.
Well, thank you, amigas, for being here on Amiga Mentorship podcast. I'm
Thank
so
you,
excited.
Jackie. We
Thank
love
you,
you.
Jackie.
Thank you,
We love-
Rosita. La
Yeah.
bonita.
Keep shining bright, Jackie.
Oh, thank you. I love you,
You're welcome.
ladies. Amazing, amigas. Amazing.